Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to the deelysportscience hurling pod with myself, Barry Mullane, deelysportscience hurling coach. Joining me is my fellow DSS hurling coach, Brendan Delaney, a sad Cork man today. And hopefully we'll have Ronan Sheehan on in a while. Ronan's just having a few difficulties at the moment. So Brendan, commiserations first. The fact that it was an epic, it reminded me of 2009 when Tip lost to Kenny in that Great All Ireland. It was out in Dublin that night, and we're just getting pats in the back from Kilkenny people going like, "This is an unreal game, and what an occasion!" And you're going, "Yeah." I'd say it's kind of similar feeling for yourselves.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah. All I heard from neutrals was how good of a game it was, but it doesn't really mean a whole pile just yet. I suppose it's great to have that, and obviously we saw all the plaudits for how good of a game it was, which is great, and two unbelievable teams put up such a great game, but at the moment it's still a bit raw just yet.
Yeah. Well, look, just from the like, it was an unbelievable game on some occasion. It was just speaking before we came on there, like it was relentless, and it never let up. There was no lulls in the game, like even extra time when the quality dropped a bit, the excitement and the Jesus was unbelievable. So,
absolutely, yeah. Like they're an absolute credit, the players.
I suppose the first thing.
Sorry, Barry. No, I'd say go on there. I'd say we're just kind of.
I suppose. Look, the first thing is where do you think did Clare win it or did Cork lose it?
I suppose I genuinely think that Clare were the better team overall. Really, I think it was a case of Clare's top men really performed. Whereas I felt a few of Cork players that have performed all year and were unbelievable for us were just a small bit below par. I don't think that's throwing shade on them. Say Fitzgibbon, Barrett, Connolly, we got great change out of all year and just unfortunately didn't reach their height. Decky Dalton as well has been phenomenal at wing forwards. It just didn't really get to their height, whereas Tony Kelly really stepped up, Mark Rogers, Peter Duggan I thought was outstanding, and Shane O'Donnell, those type of players that have been good for Clare all year really stepped up again. So I do think it was Clare won it as opposed to Cork losing, and that's mad being said with just 1 point in the difference. It was such a close game, regardless of players who performing well and players maybe just slightly below par.
Yeah, it's interesting you said there. There's really a point in it, like just the conversations I was having, after it, was, just people saying fine margins. Like maybe Decky Dalton didn't have his best day, but he had a couple of wides, didn't he? And if one of them had gone over, especially the one, after half time, he could have gone on and had a blinder in the second half.
Yeah.
Hoggy had a free to go 8 points up. Robbie O'Flynn had a chance to stick one over the bar. He went for the goal. You just these little things, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. Tiny margins, and I suppose maybe what highlights them a bit more, Barry, is the fact that Cork just came short. Whereas, so if you look at the other side, Clare probably had some very similar aspects as well, where they just missed out. Like Dave Fitzgerald was very good, got I'm sure 3 points from play, but he missed a couple as well that in other days he will score, including the kind of half goal chance he got. I think the one there, Hoggy's one was. I was just watching a small bit of it back. Cork at the first white 15th minute, the second white 16th minute, and then Clare got a goal the 17th minute. Small margins there. We could have been an extra 2 points up. I think was it 1-8 to 4 at the time. We could have gone 1-10 to 4, and hopefully kept out a goal then. But look there, you can go through the whole game with a fine-tooth comb and look at all of those in real detail. But I think I think you're right. We just should kind of bask in it and enjoy it, and what an unbelievable game it was.
Yeah, you mentioned David Fitzgerald there. I've watched the game back, and he had an absolute free for all.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's got 3 points, but he was 6 wides, so probably he was on a load of possessions. If you, I don't know if you follow No Plan B on Twitter, the performance process, Paul O'Brien.
yeah,
He had a good article there in the Times where he just kind of had a heat map for Tony Kelly and David Fitzgerald. Probably says something about Cork. Maybe that's where, if Pat Ryan was looking back, there might be a few regrets about that. That if David Fitzgerald was on so much ball, he seemed to be in acres of space whenever he had it as well. You know,
yeah. I felt his position. I said it to. I was sitting with my brother. I said it to him. He's drifting away off Mark Coleman, so he kind of played in that, say, your traditional number 12 position, and Mark Coleman was obviously detailed to pick him up. And Mark set off really well. Obviously, you're looking to cover space as well inside, but Dave Fitzgerald just got on unbelievable amount of ball there, and he got his couple of wides as well. But I thought he was really good at starting attacks. Not just shooting on sight all the time. His delivery inside was good, but he's such a powerful runner as well that he attracts attention and then is able then to slip a ball through. But the ground he covered was phenomenal. And look, I suppose maybe you can analyze it really closely. Decky Dalton covered so much ground against Limerick in that kind of pocket. Maybe Fitzgerald was kind of put there to get rid of Decky Dalton's influence there.
Yeah, and Dave set up. He set up Tony Kelly's goal as well.
Yeah.
So he was everywhere.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Clare in a minute, but just on Cork again. 2 things. So the first one is the third quarter against Limerick. I think we discussed this the last part. Was it, I think they had 10 shots and 10 scores, something like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and they had a few very bad wides in that first quarter. They hurled really well, but just couldn't put the ball over the bar. There was a few bad wides, bad decisions.
Yeah.
I thought it was crucial.
I suppose as well in that time, so we went in level, and very quickly after half-time, Mark Rogers got that good goal. So whereas rather than Cork, so when we played Limerick, we were on top very quickly in that third quarter, whereas it felt like we were kind of chasing a bit for a couple of minutes of that third quarter and never kind of really got into it. I thought Clare on puckouts from minute 1 to minute 80 dominated Cork on them, to be honest. Cork couldn't really get into that flow on, say, our own puckouts of getting them out quickly and getting primary possession, or on Clare's puckouts where they nearly used Cork's puckout, inverted commas, Cork they kind of brought to this championship, and got really good joy out of that. Whereas you're kind of looking for Cork maybe to win a bit more off the breaking ball that they just didn't kind of get there. But I think those couple of things really was a massive factor in that third quarter, along with maybe a few wayward shots as well that we just couldn't really get the scoreboard ticking like we did against Limerick.
Yeah, Cork won 2 out of 14 long puckouts.
Yeah,
like their own puckout, and so I've just there was a stat there from the Sunday game. Long puckouts won 2 for 14%, and net points returned was a -4. And I think Clare, I'm not sure what the exact stat was, but they scored goals and points from their puckouts. Cork didn't get a short puck of off inside their own half, inside the half either.
Yeah, so. It's that kind of say blend that has worked quite well for Cork. They were able to go long, and then say a forward line steps off that they were able then to go short and build it up through. I think as well, Clare in around the middle third, Cork never really kind of got their kind of running game going. We didn't see Barrett run off the shoulder, Fitzgibbon, as much as they have in other games. And I felt we spoke about Dave Fitzgerald kind of coming into midfield, David Reedy floating around there as well, that they kind of bunched it up a bit and just Cork couldn't kind of get into that flow. And that's all, it all comes from, and it all, stems to just maybe we're struggling kind of getting into our flow of things.
Yeah. I mean, their inability to win the breaking ball, as you said, was key as well for Clare. Like, Cork were so good at winning breaking ball in the championship. If you've seen it during the week, when we put up some practices for coaches, I had one on breaking ball, and the video was just Cork winning breaks against Tip constantly, and they were so good against Limerick too, and it just wasn't happening today. But it was. I suppose we move on to Clare. It was really good from Clare rather than Cork just not being at it. That was really good from Clare, particularly Conlon. Checking the runs of Shane Barrett. Who's lightning fast onto the ball, but Conlon, big. We talk about big players. You mentioned maybe the big players that didn't turn up for Cork. Real experienced players usually turn it on on final day, big days.
Yeah.
And John is 35, but he was magnificent yesterday. Shane O'Donnell is Tony Kelly, Davy Mack. They're all hurling 10, 11 years. They've had big days, and the big boys turned up for Clare big time, particularly Conlon.
I really thought he was exceptional. And just touching on your point there about, said, the long puckouts, Barrett, who's got really big joy in an awful lot of games of going into that 12 pocket where Harnedy comes into the middle for that big long puck out and Barrett hits the wing, but Conlon stayed with him every step of the way. We speak about how lightning fast Barrett is, and there's been talk of Conlon slowing down and not being able to keep up with the pace of it, but there was no signs of that at the weekend. He was unbelievable. He was unreal. And his next phase, the video I touched on, say, last week for the members, was, say, skipping a line and then receiving that ball off the shoulder. Conlon was excellent at that. Any short puck out, once it went past him, he was an option. Say, for Diarmuid Ryan, popped him on, Tony Kelly. It was just showed the energy the man had on the day, which he's touched on there about their big players stepping up, and they really, really did. And he was exceptional.
Yeah. In fairness, though, I will say I thought Seamus Harney did turn up, though. Seamus Harney did a good game.
Yeah. Seamus is very good. 4 points from play. It was funny looking at it. We were chatting afterwards. He got 4 points from play, and Diarmuid Ryan got 3. But no, I thought Seamus was involved in a lot of things good. Even Cork had a very good point in the second half there. He touched on the line, played it back to Tim O'Mahony and over the bar. He had the kind of half goal chance where he ran off Dickie Dalton's shoulder. He was just he was really, really good.
Did you think that was I was just had a look at that one a couple of times. Do you think should Dalton have passed it a bit quicker, or should Jamie Hardy maybe after running a little bit, because he was coming at the pace, and I don't know, I can't make up my mind.
Yeah, it's a kind of hard one, and I was even thinking, say that, say when Dalton makes the initial run, and generally when you receive that pass, somebody coming off the shoulder, you generally have that kind of split second and more time. So he kind of, maybe he thought he had a bit more time than he did by coming off the shoulder. He didn't think he needed to arc a run a bit more, or even Connolly was screaming for it. It's great in hindsight, I suppose. It's if it went in, we mightn't even be speaking about it, that kind of way. But there's, I think, in those kind of in those situations, there's so many different factors you can do, that can say obviously dictate and influence the outcome. But yeah, look, it was a pity. It would have capped off a really, obviously the goal then for 1-4 would have been unbelievable performance. But no, I think he was very good in the game. He's been one of Cork's standout players all year, in fairness. Been so consistent.
Another interesting point was that now this isn't again at the referee. Clare got no free in the second half.
Yeah, I
All
saw
right.
that stat. That was
Yeah, they
bizarre.
got no free. I mentioned um, uh, Dave Fitz getting on like 6 wides, 3 points. He was on a world of ball. Does that say something about Cork's defence? I know we're going back to Cork again, but if you could, what does it say that the fact that they're not giving away frees, were they too standoffish, or was it were they being was the freeze not
Yeah,
given?
it's
I didn't think I looking back at the second half. There was nothing really controversial in normal time.
hmm.
I never noticed Clare not getting any free.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, I didn't either. There was one that somebody had said it was kind of 50-50 with Shanahan and Downey. The ref gave a free out for Downey. I just at the time I gave a quick glance and it felt like Shanahan had started the holding before the camera panned to it. But yeah, like that, I don't think there was anything that you could say, oh, that should have been a free or shouldn't, or say for Clare. But maybe are you kind of looking for a bit more kind of boldness in Cork to stop that bit of a flow instead of letting them shoot from play and put over where the crowd kind of get into it? Can you give a foul to slow down the game that bit more? Don't
yeah,
let the crowd stay involved. Is there a bit too much honesty there or something? I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. But I didn't notice it in the game. But I think, say,
yeah.
Clare,
I
not again, there was no badness in Clare, but they fouled at the right times. And they stopped any bit of
yeah,
momentum Cork got going when there was a half chance for a goal.
yeah. I think that's fair. I think that it was. I think maybe it's a lesson Cork will have to learn. You look at the Clare defence. Like, if the game, if Clare had won it in normal time, Dermot Ryan would be my man of the match.
Yeah, he was.
Or Colin Malone, or Kelly. Look, Kelly is magnificent. But Adam Hogan, Connor Lean, like all these defenders, Conlon, Cleary,
Yeah,
they were all magnificent.
yeah, yeah,
And um, so
yeah. They were. On Cathal Malone, I think he's a massive unsung hero of that team. I thought he was outstanding. The work he gets through, he's literally 45 to 45 every inch. He's
yeah,
he was excellent. He in my opinion, he's getting to that kind of Will O'Donoghue level of influence from say how good Limerick were or are in their pomp, and how effective Will
yeah,
O'Donoghue is. I think Cathal Malone is in that level now, to be honest.
yeah. It was such a funny game to kind of analyze, because like, so you had all those brilliant defensive displays, which would suggest that there was a lot of good ball going in. Cork actually did a lot of really good hurling as well.
Mm.
Probably came out too quickly. There was a few balls Hoggy probably should have controlled, but it comes out that he had an injury, didn't he? So he couldn't really sprint. He said
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I was
That
saying
probably
that.
explains a lot as well. Um, yeah, just a funny game to analyze.
Yeah, I,
Like, it
I
felt
think the
like there was scoring in blocks. Like, Clare would
mm,
score a few points, get ahead. In Cork, in fairness to Cork, each goal they responded after every goal with a score.
yeah,
Um, and it just felt like that Clare were always that bit ahead, but Cork were always responding in blocks of scores as well. Um, just yeah,
yeah, I
that's why they
think
call it an epic. Oh, epic win.
yeah. The just I don't know what you call them, massive momentum swings, but just those like pockets where Clare would score, Cork are chasing them. Like even the extra time, 88 minute, Clare were 3 points up, and Cork still had they got 2 points through freeze from Hoggy, but then they still had the chance at the end to go level, which is mad that they can still create those chances in that was only two minutes really of play left. Um, and I felt after Tony Kelly's goal, and I'm sure we'll touch on that, of what an unbelievable goal it was, but I felt after that Cork were kind of always chasing for those last 20 minutes, just to try and I don't think we went ahead, or if we did, it was only a point or two. There was nothing of significance where we went ahead, from Tony Kelly's goal on. But yeah, it was a funny one in that the momentum swings of just a couple of points here, claw it back, couple of points again. There was bar the opening 15 minutes. There was nothing really between the teams after that.
Yeah. No, just glad you mentioned the goal, and just a question I want to ask you about maybe in general hurling today. Skillful players today. Like, and I'm not talking about Kelly's goal. He's just like this generally exceptional player, one of the best I've ever seen. But Robert Downey's goal, Mark Rogers' goal, the type of strike, like there's no way Rogers should have got a shot off there. The way he angled his wrists and the way he hit it, I was, how did he get that shot away? And the same with Rob Downey, the way he to flick it up off the hurley without the catch, obviously, but to get that trajectory going to the roof of the net was stunning.
Yeah, they were savage goals.
Why are players are getting more skillful? What are players doing? I think players are getting more skillful. I mean, you've had standout players in every era. Like Hoggy's always been like genius hurler. You know, like the likes of Lynch and Noel McGrath. But there seems to be more and more technically brilliant hurlers.
Yeah,
why is that, you think?
I definitely think the baseline level of skill has gone way up, and that's all across the board. Even at club level, I think your kind of baseline skill is a lot higher year on year. To be honest, I put it down to, like, we always hear about the old coaches of, say, our straight line drills and getting through it. Whereas now every evening really from the top level, they're being challenged through games. So the amount of decisions being made at training is way higher than what it used to be. So now you're learning from trainings and games as opposed to maybe just games. You know, so there's more decisions being made more times a week, more times we can learn from it. Whereas before we're just focusing completely on, say, a skill. There's no decision being made. It's striking from A to B. Whereas now I need to strike from A to B, but there's two people in my way. What can I do to get it around them? What can I move? What, way can I feint to get around them? So I would put it down to that. I suppose there's no direct science there that we can back it up with. But that's I think so. I don't know what's your thoughts on it.
I tend to agree with you. It was just I started thinking about it because they had mentioned either, I don't know, was it post-match analysis or Sunday game, but they Kelly's goal, especially the way when he flicked it over and then he took that touch, and then it wasn't a bat, wasn't a strike, it was just ridiculous goal. But they kind of said that was done on the ball wall, and I was kind of going, okay, I'm not against the ball wall. I think as a coach, like we talk about games-based coaching, we can't ignore the technical side of things either. But I do think that Kelly goal, apart from his brilliance as a hurler, I'd say, playing in the influence of Paul Kinnerk and Shane Hassan, now their coach, will have kind of a little part to play in that, given what they're exposed to at training now. And like you said, more decisions being made at training every, whether 2 pitch sessions a week. I'm sure, I don't know what their ratio is, but I would say this is 60%, 70% could be game based.
Yeah.
Either full match or maybe 4-on-4s, 3-on-3s, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, even, do you remember his point in the 73rd minute when he won a breaking ball off Duggan, I think, went for the puck out, won the breaking ball coming through, and there was 3 Cork lads shepherding perfectly, and he spins over the shoulder over the bar. Like, that, say, from a coaching point of view, that doesn't come from doing an unopposed drill striking over the bar. So that comes from opposed and being exposed to, again, there's somebody in my way. What way can I move this to put it over the bar? Now, I know he's slightly off balance. He nearly had to spin with it. But again, it's just what he's being exposed to, and what he has kind of natural ability adds to that. You know, there's very, very, very few hurlers who can pull that off on the biggest day with 2 minutes to go a point up.
Yeah, I think his natural ability came in there, and just the kind of the nature of the game, the kind of wildness of it as well. It was just I'm doing this, you know. The one that the score that stood out for me, apart from his goal, and I was thinking, that's just you could maybe point to the more game based stuff. Do you remember the score he got kind of toward near the Hogan stand side?
Down in front of me, yeah.
And he did a pickup, but he kind of, you know, that pickup where you kind of flick him a bit higher, to delay the catch, and he, whatever way he caught it, flicked it over a hurley or two, and before he caught it, he was nearly turning. And I thought that was the 1 point of the year. It reminded the score of the game. It was unbelievable.
It was savage. For
O'Donnell is great at that as well.
Yeah,
O'Donnell is
he
great
is.
Yeah.
But even for Kelly's points, he dispossessed 2 Cork players in that play to get 2 flicks in, and then flick it over someone, and then still striking under pressure. It kind of goes back to how you said about how Rodgers angled his hurley, that it's so hard to get hooked, whatever way they strike the ball. It was it was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, and I wasn't criticizing like the Cork defense for that. Well, no, they deserved the way he ran in. All right, I mean he should have been put down. You know.
Yeah.
But my point on the skill was that when he eventually got through, as poor defendant that was, I don't think they could have done anything about it when he was striking it. It was the way he did it. You could say, oh, they should have hooked him. I just think he made it impossible.
Yeah.
No more than Rob Downey. I mean, how did he get from where he caught the ball to,
and what nearly helped Downey was how good the Cork forwards have been all year. That Connorleen is so preoccupied with Hoggy. Adam Hogan, his right Connolly is my man here, and he stay with him, and same with Clare and Brian Hayes, that it just opened up for him, which just shows that there's, you know, a blend of a running game and a striking game is just so effective, that it can open up like that, and then to have somebody to run into that space and be able to finish it from the half back line. It was Kyle Hayes-esque, really, like, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know about that one, the one I'm talking about down in Park Green?
Oh, I do, yeah. Brendan Maher couldn't even get close to foul him, never mind possessing that goal. Jeez.
Yeah.
But look, just one thing that stood out for me for Clare as well, I'd probably say it for you, was their aerial ability. Particularly David McInerney, Jim Ryan.
Yeah, we touched on Cork getting so much joy out of that long puck out. They really neutralised that, and it was because they were able to contest in the air with a Brian Hayes or Harnedy or as you said, McInerney there on Dalton. And on the other side as well, I have just written down here the versatility of Clare forwards. Every forward at different stages of the game was nearly in every position. So long puck outs down on Dave Fitzgerald and Duggan were massive targets as well, from an attacking point of view, as well as you say, from a defensive point of view with McInerney and Diarmuid Ryan. But even say we saw Shane O'Donnell start at 11, then go inside. Tony Kelly was inside for a while. Aidan McCarthy was out. Duggan was inside for a good bit as well. You know, they seemed to be popping up everywhere. And I don't know, did Cork maybe struggle with that kind of versatility and movement, that they were getting dragged all over the place, that the matchups weren't 100% stuck throughout the whole game?
Can I ask you, I didn't notice it because I kind of wasn't, you're kind of lost in the game. And then when I was watching it back, it was more just the scores but was there someone detailed for Tony Kelly? Was there somebody I like, or was it kind of, was he doing his thing? Because he was back in the half back line a good bit in the first half.
Yeah. From my kind of looking on, it looked like he was midfield for the first even nearly 40 minutes of it, and then he pushed up to centre forward. From midfield, I suppose it's difficult to man mark completely in midfield. I find anyway, to drag somebody all over the place like that, the midfielder needs to be able to drop in and help your half back line when it goes over your head and stuff. From my understanding, it looked like Tim Manny was the one of the two to kind of pick him up. And I thought he did very well in him in the first half. I just felt Kelly got into the game when he pushed the centre forward. And in extra time, you could see it was Jer Millerick on him. But like that, I was kind of lost in it for the second half. He picked up those couple of scores and just couldn't really see where he was, who exactly he was being picked up by.
Yeah. The last thing just for Clare, really on their victory, O'Donnell, when he started to hurl, he had a big, that second quarter for Clare. But I just thought David Reedy is an unsung hero for Clare. I thought he was excellent in that second quarter.
Yeah.
He got on so much ball. He was involved in a lot. I just think like O'Donnell and Kelly, and they get the plaudits, but this lad is a class hurler, and he got a smashing point in the second half as well, actually. But I just thought that second quarter, Clare 7 points down, somebody had to step up, and I thought he did. I thought he was really key to Clare's getting back into the game.
Yeah, his use of the ball is really, really good. He very rarely wastes possession, and his decision making on the ball, he varies the play so much. He can take it on, he can slip it to a runner, or he can play it inside. But even when he's in the half forward line, he's maybe between that kind of third man midfield, or they kind of play four across. But his ability to win primary possession along the ground is savage, and the ball is being pelted at him, and it's one touch, and he's able then to use a runner off the shoulder. Really, really good. And as you say, like, he doesn't get the plaudits that he might deserve, but he doesn't get the plaudits that the other lads get. But he's a massive cog in that wheel, and you can see how important he is when he's keeping the likes of, I know Ryan Taylor's only back from injury, but Ryan Taylor out, even Shane Meehan and Robert Mounsey, who have been so good the last couple of years, that David Reedy is still there and holding his own, and rightly so.
Do you think Clare's bench won it for them in the end? Or were they more influential than Cork's?
They were definitely more influential. Unfortunately, Cork just didn't really get the kick from the bench. Like, everybody in Cork knows, and everybody around the country knows, how good Jack O'Connor, Robbie Flynn and Shane Kingston are when they get the ball in their hand, when they get going. They all have a really good eye for goal, really good eye for a score. It just didn't really happen for them, unfortunately. I did think Tommy O'Connell was very good when he did come in. Worked really hard. So was nearly like a terrier, which, again, a lot of people will know that he's great on a breaking ball. Got the breaking ball to win the free for the point to put it to extra time. And Ethan Toomey, tried hard as well. But I do think Clare got a massive kick. Shane Meehan got a great point there. I think it was in extra time, which just kind of opened up for him. Say Robert Mounsey as well did well. Ryan Taylor, although not as big an influence as he did against Kilkenny, the energy he has around the place is very good.
He got a score as well.
Yeah. So, like, they did get a better kick, but I thought Clare maybe used extra time a bit better, that they were able to bring back in Aidan McCarthy for a bit. Gave him the rest and back in again. It was funny that we touched on that they had no points, so he wasn't missed, in terms of the free taking. Now, obviously, Mark Rogers and Tony Kelly can take them, but they were able to bring him back in. Whereas I was kind of wondering, would Cork bring Alan Connolly or Barrett back in? They didn't get going, but they got a rest for maybe half an hour. I know it's hard to go again, but they I thought we could have got a kick out of them. But look, they're small margins. It's very, very hard to know. If it went the other way and we brought them back in, like 2018 against Limerick, we were crying out for somebody to come in for Harnedy, who was on one leg out in the pitch. So if we brought Connolly and Barrett back in, you're kind of saying, why are you bringing on lads that have already come off? I thought Lehane maybe might have added something. I'm just wondering, was he carrying something going into the game that he just wasn't 100%? Thought his kind of experience there and that stage could have stemmed well, but look, again, it's great in hindsight, isn't it?
Yeah. I thought they should have brought Conley back on. That was my feeling. Anyway, like the bench, I think like Clare finished the match without Shane O'Donnell, without Mark Rogers, without Peter Duggan, without Conor Cleary. You mentioned the players that came on. Darrell Owen came on.
Yeah.
I thought he was excellent when he came on.
Am I right in saying he went in full back for Cleary?
Yeah. I was waiting for Dave McInerney to go back there.
I was the same.
But no, but he did the business.
Yeah,
he was
held
very
his own.
Good.
In fairness to him, yeah.
Held his own. Yeah,
and nice
really
story
good.
with nice story about the red helmet.
Yeah,
from Brian. So yeah.
No, fair play to him as well. Even Shane O'Morey made a noose of himself and he came on.
Yeah.
No, really good. I think I would say hat tip to Clare bench as well. Fair play to them. And to Shane O'Donnell and Patrick Horgan who were carrying injuries into the game, serious injuries as well.
I
didn't know about the Horgan one till this morning. I heard about Shane O'Donnell, all right, but fair play to them.
Yeah, we had heard it last week, and it was kind of brushed under the carpet really quickly, saying nah, and then he was named, and you kind of forget about it, and then it came out. Then we heard it yesterday evening that he did, but I suppose it just shows the level of, say, conditioning he's got himself to, that he can play at that level of an All-Ireland final with, a hamstring that's not 100% right.
Yeah. No, look, I didn't mention the ref really. It's been talked about today. Like, it was a free at the end. It wasn't given. It should have been given. I think that's,
Yeah, look, I suppose.
I thought he contributed to a brilliant match.
Yeah, I think he did. And look, I think as I said earlier, you can go through every single detail of the game and say, oh, this decision from this player was wrong, or this, he should have done this, should have done that. So much has been said about, oh, poor Robbie Flynn, he'd be disgusted. And absolutely, my heart goes out to him. But I think the referee didn't, he doesn't go out to make those bad decisions. And I think nor does any player. And the referees, I'm sure they watch back games and they'll be kicking themselves in those type of situations as well. I think online and social media is so toxic towards referees, and it's not toxic towards players. So players are kind of given a bit extra, and I just think referees deserve that as well. At the end of the day, they're humans, they're amateurs, and they're putting in just as much effort to get to that level. And I just think they maybe deserve a bit more slack, like the players get.
Like the great players make, like Tony Kelly had a wide yesterday. Patrick Horgan missed a free. He put over his eyes closed. But we're talking about what brilliant players they are, and the referee makes one mistake, and he's getting it from all angles. I just thought he did an excellent game.
I thought he contributed really, really well. He let the game go, but then nothing boiled over. There was no badness in anything, and he really kept it under control. In that sense, I felt so. Yeah, look, it's just unfortunate that it was just at the very end. If it was anywhere else in the game, would you be talking about it as much?
And just on the potential penalty, he gave the free in, but I think the black card thing was he didn't have possession of the ball. Is that why you don't give a black card?
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah,
he gave the free, and he had a chat with the umpires, and I think he made the right call there.
It was hard to see for us. When you're seeing, so we were saying earlier, we're on the 20 on the Hogan stand side, and we were quite low down, so it is kind of hard to see, in terms of where exactly he was, moving in. But yeah, look, in the moment we stand up and saying it should be a penalty, but I think without possession of the ball, it's very difficult to say that it's a real goal scoring chance.
Okay. Look, before we finish, who's your young player of the year and your hurler of the year?
Um,
Give me for the hurler of the year. Give me 3 or 4 players you consider,
yeah, I think
and
for
why Shane
the
O'Donnell is the winner.
I think player of the year, yeah. Look, it has to be Shane O'Donnell really in my eyes. He was phenomenal from day one up in Limerick up in Clare against Limerick. From the goal he set up where he takes on Dan Morrissey and is able to spray the ball across for a goal. And throughout the whole championship he's been exceptional. His feet alone, just the way he kind of bounces off the ground to create scoring opportunities. And even say for Peter Duggan at a point in the second half, that Shane O'Donnell got the ball and Owen Downey swallowed him up so well. But he's so strong to be able to push him off and move on again. And then the goal for Aidan McCarthy, you could nearly see it was nearly Cork's tactic. I don't know, would you say that, of how Joyce tried to hold him before he got away again. You know, it was to nearly foul him as early as possible. But yeah, I think he has to be odds on for it. I thought Darragh Fitzgibbon, Shane Barrett had 2 excellent years as well. Just unfortunately the final performance, you know, it just eluded them a touch. Now they were still very good, but just in terms of the level they'd set themselves at. Thought David McInerney had a very good year and really steadied the ship when he came back in to wing back. After I think, did he miss the first Limerick game or is he back in for that? Did he miss the league? Thought he was very good as well. Like after that, then I suppose, you know, Kyle Hayes was very good coming into the semi-final. Again, just maybe didn't have as much an influential game as he did up to that point. But yeah, look, I think it's hard to give a shout for anybody else other than Shane O'Donnell there.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
Any other ones there that I missed?
I thought Shamie Hardy was brilliant this year. He'd be someone I thought he was exceptional for Cork.
Yeah.
And Darragh Fitzgibbon as well. I'd say whoever won yesterday or on Sunday was either going to be Darragh Fitz or Shane O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Player of the year.
Yeah.
You know, so.
No, Darragh Fitz was outstanding. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought Seamus Hardy was superb as well all year, and Kyle Hayes was excellent. David Blanchfield was excellent as well. All year. And then your young hurler of the year, who would it be?
It's hard to look past Adam Hogan, really. I don't know how. No, Mark Rogers last year.
It was Mark Rogers, right? Yeah.
But how high does it go up? Is it under 22? Is it or 23?
Not sure.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know. I think by my research, I think Mark Rogers is past it, and I think Cathal O'Neill is past it as well. But I'm not 100% sure. But I think Adam Hogan probably did deserve it. Like I thought he kept an awful lot of exceptional hurlers quiet in those couple of games. People say he maybe plays on the edge a bit. A few people think that he's overrated. I don't think so. I think he's very effective. I think he really plays with his heart in his sleeve and puts in as good a performance as any other back this year for Clare.
Yeah.
Any other for you?
Brian Hayes.
Yeah.
Is he
young? Is he young enough for it? Is he? Is it? If it's definitely under 22, then he's definitely eligible.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
He's one for me anyway. But or Conor Lean or Adam Hogan from Clare.
Yeah.
Those three really for me.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if it's under 21 or under 22. I suppose we should.
Yeah.
We should get that checked out. But yeah, look, I think a couple of years ago there was maybe those young players weren't really getting into teams, or they weren't even getting into all-star teams and that. But now the way the game has gone, they're having a massive influence on games, and it shows how good the level is coming up each year on year.
Fantastic. Look, we'll leave it at that, Brendan. Thanks for joining
Yeah.
today.
Thanks a million, Barry.
Just to remind people, just to remind everybody that's listening, if you're in the DSS WhatsApp groups, Kieran has just put in the subscription plan. It's really well worth the money. So if you click on the link if you when you get a chance. Thanks for joining us, and look, I'm sure we'll talk again maybe during Club Championship, Brendan.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks a million, Barry. Cheers.